Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Gallowgateshots FPL show. That was a very jolly hello, but
It
actually,
was very jolly.
I've got some kind of solemn game week 38 vibes because it does feel like the last game week of the season. Game week 16 is over. We're now in the middle of the World Cup break.
Yeah.
World Cup's about to start on Sunday. How are you feeling about it all, Dan?
Well, the World Cup. I'm
Just
excited that
just everything, the
just
break, the
everything in
World Cup.
life. You know what? It's been a cracking week so far. I think I may have had a green arrow this week, which is nice for this. In terms of the World Cup, obviously World Cups are always exciting. Can't wait to watch the games. Not too sure that England are going to do very much, and obviously there's a lot of controversy around the World Cup. So it'd be nice if it was somewhere else. And Hugo Lloris wasn't a massive homophobe, but other than that, I'm
Yeah,
excited for it.
it would be nice if you didn't see videos of like fake fans, like people who've been paid to like wander the streets and pretend to be from certain nations. It's all very like
That's
Black
weird,
Mirror,
isn't it?
isn't it? Like
Yeah,
very odd. But yeah, so Fantasy Premier League's over. We've now got exactly 42 days until the next Fantasy Premier League deadline. So lots to think about or not think about. But in the meantime, we're going to have a little look about the FPL season so far, and starting with our game week 1 teams. So thought it'd be a nice idea for us to have a look back, cast our minds back to when we were tinkering away
yeah.
that first kind of, well, getting ready for game week 1, thinking how amazing this season was going to be, how naive we were, all of the hope still alive,
Dashed.
um, totally dashed now. But yeah, everything was still new and fresh and exciting. What was your team in game week 1? Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So I had Meslier and Danny Ward in goal. So Meslier's turned out to be a car crash.
Me too.
Danny Ward turned out to be unbelievable from like match day 8, game day 8, whatever you want to call it, game week 8. Like his points return, obviously I got rid of him. I brought in Iverson by this point. So again, it's all because I took him out. But yeah, you had nothing at all. And then from game week 9, you got 8-1, 6-9, 8-3, 6-11 for 4 million.
Yeah, he's
Glorious.
been amazing, hasn't he? Really, loads of people sold him. How many points I've actually seen? So I've kept him this whole time. But
Have
how many
you?
points? Yeah, but how many points I've actually seen from him is probably nothing because I've played Pope or Meslier in his place. But yeah, who else did you have?
My back 5 defenders at least were Nico Williams, who's done all right. Patterson, who started off okay, but then he's got injured. Kieran Trippier, so went with the Geordie boy at the beginning, and that he's been the best defender of the game, I think. Trent and Robertson, they were very good. So I'd say they were the 2 big mistakes, having Trent and Robbo instead of like Cancelo and somebody else.
Yeah,
Saliba.
not bad though. He's doing all right now. He's very, very popular at the minute.
Well, that's what I mean. If I'd went for like Cancelo and Saliba, or Cancelo and
Yeah.
any Arsenal defender instead
All
of
right.
Trent
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Robbo, that would have been a big help. But never mind. It is what it is.
I
All right,
mean,
you.
who would have known? Who would have known Liverpool were going to be like
This
dog
bad.
dirt? Yeah. So yeah, I think if I remember right, casting my mind back to like the very, very beginning, I remember me telling you that our defenses were pretty much exactly the same. So I
Yeah.
had Meslier, I had Ward, I had Nico Williams, Trent Robbo, and
Trips.
uh, Trippier. Yeah, so that was exact same back line. However, I think I remember selling Trippier on my notorious wild card. Because if you cast your mind back, our
That's a
first,
terrible decision, that.
it was an awful. I've had loads of awful decisions made, to be honest. So cast your mind back, like I remember our first 3 fixtures were pretty decent, but then after that, or was it first 2 fixtures and then we had Man City, didn't we? I sold
Yeah, it's
Trippier
mad.
or benched Trippier on my wild card when he scored that amazing free kick. So my season has had, looking back, the most horrendous decisions. Like I've managed my team so badly. But originally, my defense wasn't too bad, other than Trent and Robertson, which nobody could have really seen coming. In terms of midfielders, I'll say my midfielders first.
Okay.
So I had Salah, and I had him captain, which, I mean, standard tactic. He's sort of coming back into the conversation now, but
he's decent captain for match day 1, got 12 points.
Yeah, but obviously we all know what's happened and how Haaland's kind of took over.
Yeah.
Sort of a bit of a kind of outcast now, like being put to the side. Like FPL managers don't want to play with him anymore. Martinelli, which obviously originally I think loads of people had, but he wasn't as highly owned in the beginning. He sort of just slowly rose to fame, like very, very quickly. What was he, 6 million or 7 million to start?
6 to start.
Yeah. So, and what do you have? What he is now? You'll have your laptop up.
Yeah, he is now 6.8.
So he's shot up. Yeah. So I think we'll not talk too much about game week 17, but I can imagine he's going to be very, very highly owned.
Yeah.
Straight away for those who are still actively playing the game. I had Mason Mount, which was a bit of a shocker. Nobody could have really seen that coming either. He's had 2 managers and been shit for both of them. Then obviously Leon Bailey. We both had a lovely conversation, if I remember right, about how
you deserve him. You deserve
Bailey versus Almiron.
You deserve the shit. You deserve that, and everyone that went Bailey over Almiron deserves it.
Yeah, I wish I'd stuck with Almiron. But I mean, some of us like went with Bailey. Some of us went with Almiron. Some of us sold Almiron.
Some of us benched Almiron.
We're not all winners here. So
no, I mean, there is no winner here, man.
Nah, no one here. So I also had Andreas Pereira from the start as well, which was nice.
Class.
So some decisions I feel like I've got right, and some very good decisions I've got right. But I've I benched Andreas Pereira the first week, not knowing how amazing he was going to be for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to see in game week 1 that had some decent kind of thoughts and wasn't just stuck in the shit mindset of what I'm in now. So I'm kind of glad for the break now, to be fair. I feel like I'm the opposite of Newcastle United. Like, Newcastle fans don't want the season to end, whereas I'm like, I want to play it now. Yes, please. Yeah. Stop this madness. How about you? What was your midfield?
I also had Salah and Martinelli. Had Kulusevski.
Not bad.
He got 13 points that week. I think it was the highest scorer. Started with Almiron, and we'll leave it there. And my 5th midfielder was James Maddison, who's been absolute mustard.
Yeah,
from start
incredible foresight there. Like,
I think he was a differential as well. When I had him, people were like, "Really?" I was like, "Do you not watch football?" And he's like, I didn't look at underlying stats, but his general stats, he was absolutely mint.
Yeah.
And then that first game, he only got 5 points. He got an assist, but he created the most chances of every player in the league on that first day. I was like, well, perfect, absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
that's all you want.
Little fantasy Premier League tip for you here. So now that you can make unlimited transfers, if you buy James Maddison now, and you've already got 3 Newcastle players, when he eventually signs for Newcastle, you get to have 4 Newcastle United players, and that is the dream, really. So yeah, something to just be mindful of, actually. And that is actually me being deadly serious. It was a bit of a joke, but actually imagine that. That's some wisdom.
That is wisdom.
Although you'd be forced with your next transfer to take 1 Newcastle player out. But for game week 17, for game week 17 at least, you'd have...
Yeah, it's only when you want to make a transfer, that's your transfer.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you just go the rest of the season with a zombie team, don't you?
Pretty much. I mean, you'd be set. 4 Newcastle players.
4 Newcastle players, 3 Arsenal, a couple of City. Haaland, job done.
You wouldn't need to make a transfer again.
Ever? Even next season? Just keep this team?
Yep, exactly that. I mean, pricing might be slightly different for Newcastle players, but that's a totally different conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Strikers. Who were your strikers, mate?
I had Harry Kane, Gabriel Jesus, and Archer. Obviously, Archer was just my My punt is 4.5 million, cheapest forward in the game. That he got a point. He was on my bench anyway.
Yeah.
But Kane and Jesus blanked that week. Then Haaland went off. So I went Kane to Haaland, and then Kane scored and Haaland got an assist or something daft. But you just had to get him in, didn't you? Before then, price rises and all that bollocks. So yeah, it was. Yeah. I think the team overall is a dead team. I don't know what it would be now, but I don't think it's terrible. I think the issue is going to be like injuries. So Kulusevski had a long time out, Patterson long time out, and you wouldn't want anything to do with Meslier, Robertson, and Alexander-Arnold. But then again, Meslier could just sit on your bench, and if you played Danny Ward from game week 9, you'd be laughing. So yeah, you know what? I bet might have been better off not changing anything.
So like on that note, right? So I had Kane, I had Wilson, and I had Jesus, or Gabriel Jesus, as you beautifully said. So yeah, I had those 3 decent picks, to be honest. If I'd kept them 3 for the from then until game week 16, barring Wilson's injury, I probably would have been in a decent position. Now, on that note, so I did some number crunching. I was like, right, I'm interested to see, because it's not a bad team, is it really? Like the first team I did, it's not the worst. Like you say, Nico Williams, Trent Robertson, Bailey and Mount are probably like the only ones in the starting 11, which you could argue have been poor.
Meslier.
Now, did I not mention? Yeah, obviously Meslier. So I had a little look. So if I didn't change my team for the whole season, so I made it in game week 1, and I just left it. Right. Kept the captaincy on Salah, right, and kept me bench the way it was. Forgetting about like auto subs and the fact that Wilson was injured for so long, building up to this. So I would have had 791 points, right? Currently, I'm on 799 points. So bearing in mind the amount of time I spend on Twitter reading stats and looking at like XG things, researching things for this show, chatting to you on a Monday or Sunday evening about Fantasy Premier League, I'm only 8 points better off based on all of this time that I've invested in the game, which, I mean, is actually maddening. Like, it actually makes me want to weep tears.
If all you'd done as well was make a transfer when a player was injured, you'd probably have more points. Like, if you went, I'm not going to do anything, then when Wilson gets injured, you go, okay, I need to go Wilson to someone else. Wilson to Tony, Wilson to Mitrovic, something like that. Just anyone that's fit, job done on the day. And then every time a player, only when they get injured, you make a transfer, you probably have more points than you've currently got.
Imagine, I don't want to imagine. Imagine if I had Almiron instead of Bailey originally, right? And had Almiron's points instead. Like, I would have been miles ahead of where I am now.
Yeah.
Like, small decisions like that is just, yeah, hey-ho. I don't think I just want to move on now. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So hopefully after this break, I've already done a bit of tinkering. Like, I feel like the team that I've been able to make, which I'm now leaving until Christmas, looks really, really good. I'm not going to do anything or talk about it now because that's an episode way into the future. But it's looking promising. I've already got like game week 1 high hopes again. They're slowly building up, and this has just been a horrible nightmare. So next thing I want to talk about, right, is Newcastle United, mate.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a Newcastle United based channel. We talk about lots of other teams because we're talking about Fantasy Premier League, but Newcastle United have the top scoring goalkeeper in the game in Nick Pope with 70 points, who's owned by 21% of the game. We've got the top defender in the game, Trippier, with 96 points, with 64.7% of the game owning him. We've got the top midfielder in Almiron with 93 points, with 34.7%. The only one that we don't have is the best striker because it's Erling freaking Haaland.
Yeah.
Like, is that not just totally and utterly mental?
Class. It's so good.
We're third, and that is the, like, that's a reality. Gone are the days where everyone's like bringing in the player playing Newcastle.
Yes.
Like we are now the players who we bring in because we're playing Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
Chelsea this week, have they? Triple up.
Rattled. The league is rattled, and I joked before about having 4 Newcastle players, but the amount of content that I'm seeing on like fantasy football shows, like different content creators saying, "Oh, it might be a good idea to bring in 3 Newcastle players when you," and it's like this is unbelievable, like unbelievable. We're not meant to be this good yet.
Yeah.
So, is it sustainable? Do you think it's going to continue? Are we going to be the biggest trap in fantasy football history?
I think it's going to continue.
Yes.
Because we're just not. I know that everyone's slagging off Graham Potter for what he said at the weekend, and rightly so, was a bit of a cheap shot. But he's also not wrong that all those teams will be playing either like Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday. Some of them got favourable fixtures, like moving forward. So you maybe expect them to go even longer, but they're also quite tough. Like the Man United-Barcelona game, they're going to be playing full strength. We don't have that. We're going to have the FA Cup, the League Cup. Thank you, Nick Pope, and in the Premier League. And I think we've shown that we can win. Though we played obviously like 3 games in 8 days or however many it was. I'm not quite sure the exact number. But we're sure that we can do that when we do need to. But because it's not going to be that often, I just think we're going to have an advantage on everything else. We'll look fitter than everyone. Maybe the trap might just be Almiron, and it's just because I think when you're in that flow, sometimes it can you don't want that to break as a player, and that's the only thing to maybe go. Ooh, maybe wait and see if you don't have him or whatever. Like again, I will not bring him in, and everyone knows why at this stage why I won't bring him in. For the good of Newcastle United, I'm selfless, Matt. So yeah, but you have to. I do think you should have three Newcastle players, 100%. And
Absolutely.
Joe Willock's the one that I'd want personally. I think after a full rest, I don't know how he's not going to the World Cup. By the way, I don't know how that's a thing.
Do you know what? I totally agree. I think I think he's probably not the right kind of player though. He's not like a boring, dull.
He's not boring.
Defensive midfielder that's going to just stand in front of the back four, which is what Southgate wants.
He's I think he's like the 5th highest performing midfielder in the league this season. He's the highest performing central midfielder in the country that's English. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why you wouldn't take him. He outperforms everyone else, and he's exactly what England need if Gareth Southgate's going to play boring 5-3-2, and he needs runners from midfield. Obviously, he's going to get Jude Bellingham, who probably has to sit too deep anyway. He's that type of player that how many times has he dragged the ball like 60, 70 yards up the pitch? He's rapid. He's absolutely rapid.
Deceptively quick.
He is. He puts in a tackle. He's got a pass, and that was it. I think it was Jamie Carragher was going through the stats for it was because like Bruno was on there. It was basically say how good Bruno is. He's the best midfielder in the league, stats wise. And they were going through passes in tight areas. In Joe Willock's like the top. He's absolutely ridiculous how good he is.
Yeah.
100%. I don't think he gets anywhere near enough credit for how he's been performing, especially in like the last 4 or 5 weeks, being absolutely mint. And I'd want him in England's midfield above a lot of players in that squad.
Agreed.
Like current Jordan Henderson or Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher was run ragged in that game. He was shocking.
Yeah. He was poor. He looked like he was everywhere on the pitch. Like he was running around. He looked like what Almiron used to look like before he became like the Ballon d'Or winner of 2022. Like
he was like he's like Schrodinger's cat. He was everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Yeah, I think. Do you want to know a secret?
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to give anything away, but I told you I had a tinker of me the FPL team. I've got Joe Willock in my fantasy Premier League for Gameweek 17. His first sub, if I'm being honest.
Okay, why?
He's 4.9 million. Like, honestly, my team looks ridiculous. It's amazing.
Joe
I can
Willock is
afford.
4.9. I didn't even know his price. He's 4.9 million.
Yeah, so yeah, big scoop there for you. He is only 4.9 million.
He was going
I
in my
think
team anyway, but wow.
so. Yeah, so we'll leave that there. I think that's a nice little like cliffhanger to leave it on.
Yes.
Tune in next time for more Newcastle related gossip. So, what I wanted to talk to you about next is, are you playing World Cup Fantasy? I believe you are.
I am playing World Cup Fantasy.
Oh,
I
me
wasn't
too.
sure about whether I was, and then I forgot that I made the commitment that I was to other people. And yeah, I've recently gotten a bit more excited about it. So yeah, the app has finally allowed me to create a team, which is
Nice.
mint, because that was a struggle. But yeah, I'm going to play. So in terms of like scheduling, time for a plug. Myself and Lewis at FPL Reaction on Twitter, we are now sort of working. Well, I mean, Lewis works full time for Fantasy Football Scout anyway, but we are both on their page on Twitter to do spaces. So if you follow Fantasy Football Scout, you'll be able to see it. So we'll be doing previews. So I think the next one is on Thursday night. So see us on Twitter for that. Give us both a follow. I'm at UCL Fantasy Pod. And then myself and Aaron, we'll be doing a preview. I think we're going to do the preview as a live stream on a car journey down to Leeds on
Lovely.
Sunday. And then after that, we're going to be doing World Cup live streams, basically like the end of every match day. So whatever that day is, it's just going to be like a reaction, just a bit of crack, nothing too deep. How did we do? Picks for next week, and then a bit of a reaction for what chaos has ensued in Qatar. So yes, I will be playing.
Lovely. I mean, that World Cup game is out. It's very different. I mean, you think the Fantasy Premier League server and website or app is bad. The World Cup one by FIFA is like a whole new level, isn't it?
Yes,
it's really bad.
Created by a 6-year-old, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting
shocking.
because so we might as well say now Scott, who works with Gallowgateshots, doing all the wonderful editing, and he also presents the match previews that we do. He asked us whether Fantasy Premier League could do with a bit of a refresh, like some rule changes, new chips, so get rid of like triple captain and bring in new chips. It's interesting because the World Cup fantasy game has different chips and some slightly different scoring rules. Now, we're not going to bore everyone to death with what they are and how they work, just because I don't think everyone who's watching this is going to play.
And it'll take half an hour.
I mean, what your spaces the other night was, 1 hour and 40 minutes or something?
Hi.
Yeah,
just for the rules.
I watched it. It was lovely.
Thank you.
I think I even got a little mention, which was beautiful.
You did.
It made me smile like a cheddar cat. So yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fact that the rule changes are welcome. I think from Fantasy Premier League, I think it's gotten a little bit stale. I think captaincy needs a bit of a refresh, partly because I've been quite poor this season at choosing the captain.
That's why.
So with other games like the Champions League fantasy game, you're allowed to choose your captaincy twice, just in case you get the first time wrong, because there's two like Tuesday and Wednesday in that game. I would love the opportunity in Fantasy Premier League to switch the captain.
Yeah.
That's just me. That would put a lot less pressure on choosing one captaincy. But some of the chips that the World Cup fantasy game have got, like the 12th man chip, which I thought was interesting. You could choose a player from anywhere in the game. It doesn't have to be like in your team or on your bench to come and join the 11 that you've selected. Now, the thing that I love the most about this, and I saw this on a tweet from FPL Austria, so the rules have been like really open to interpretation because they're badly written.
Yeah.
And the game features don't actually match up to the rules.
Okay.
So it says in the rules that you can't captain the 12th man.
Correct.
But there's people who've got screenshots where they have been able to captain the 12th man in the game. So you can't apparently cancel the booster. They've called it a booster, not a chip. Apparently you can't cancel that. If once you activated it, you can't cancel it. Apparently there's people who have been able to take it off and others can't. Right. And then the best bit is okay, apparently you're not meant to be able to change, like bring in a player who you've already got, because obviously that would make no sense.
Because
There's people
you
who
have double De
so
Bruyne.
yeah, so there's screenshots of people who've got like double Mbappe, like they've chosen Mbappe twice. So if FPL were going to ever make changes to the game, they need to be legible, right? So you need to be
Yes,
able to understand them, right?
that's a big
And
issue. Big
the
issue.
game,
That power captaincy.
oh mate,
The
honestly, it's
captaincy in general is a nightmare for that game.
for me. I'm looking forward to it because it's a bit of a different like
Yeah,
break. It's something that I can just enjoy. I've
yeah,
now
it's a
reached
bit
a
of
stage
crack.
with, yeah, a bit of crack. It doesn't matter. I mean, it all doesn't matter really when you look at it.
Yeah.
But I just like the idea of being able to have a bit of fun. But this is going to be chaos, like actual chaos. The fact that I can honestly see when that first deadline hits, the game's just going to implode because the fact that the game just doesn't work properly. Like you weren't
Yeah,
able to make a team until a few days
today.
ago because
It was today.
you've tried. Yeah, it's
Today I
crazy.
managed to make a team and I had to change my name, I had to change my username. Um, as you do. So yeah, that was frustrating. Yeah, you're right. The rules are dodgy as. I think the reason why they've actually made the transfer rule and the captaincy change rule is to protect the servers
Really?
because there's so many when you're not going to be able to change the captain all the time, which is what some people are saying that it is. That's not the rule. I appreciate it did take us about 70 minutes to figure it out, but once you go through it, it's like that's not the rule. I mean, it might work that way because it's clear that everything else just doesn't matter, whatever they've said. But the idea is that you can only change it twice, and because it's spread out, so there's like generally like 4 games a day, it means there's less people jumping on the servers at once. So the soft deadline stops people from all jumping on before kickoff to make a change for the entire day. Let's assume 2 million people play the game, 2 million people jumping on to do it, and all they want to do is sort the captaincy, because it means it can go on later on and do it instead of having 2 million people at once, you might have 1 million people, then the other million people are spread out for the other 3 kickoffs to sort out the team.
Yeah.
So I do see why they've done it. I think it's quite smart. Whether that works or not, because the app's good enough, I've got no idea.
It feels like the only smart thing they've done. I mean, you've still got a whole bunch of players who haven't been added, who have been selected by their countries,
Yeah,
and
it's a
players
joke.
who haven't been selected yet. There's meant to be an update due. I think FPL Reactions, who you do your spaces with, has said like for the past 2 or 3 days that there's going to be an update. I promise it's today. It's going to be today.
In his defense, it's quite clearly written, update 14th of November.
Shocking, man. Absolutely shocking. So if you want to play this utterly mental and potentially faulty game of fantasy football, I think I'm going to create a league for Gallowgateshots for the World Cup.
Yes, do it.
So we'll try and put it in the comments. I'll make a comment on the video. I'll put the link in there. Everyone's welcome to join. I'll be in there. It'll be a laugh. I'll probably lose that as well. So yeah, jump on in and just embrace the ridiculousness that is World Cup fantasy. Do you want to play What's the Point?
Let's play What's the Point? Woo!
Bring on the woos. Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Woo!
There we go. So it's 2-2, mate. I believe going into the international break. This is my golden opportunity to take a lead.
It is, and I'm being honest. I've already mentioned this to you, Matt. I'm winging it this week. I've been busy. I've been a busy bar.
Disgusting.
So I know,
Not acceptable.
honestly. So I did have an idea, but let me just have a quick look. Right, that's.
Not that this is ultra competitive and you're purposely trying to make it hard.
I know. Right, I've got it. Okay, you ready for this? I'm just trying to get them in alphabetical order. Oh my god, that is tough.
Take your time.
I know it's harder than you think. Right, Solanke.
Okay.
Willock. and Wilson. It was the Willock Wilson thing. You need to double check that twice.
A, B,
No,
C.
the first three letters are the same, god damn it!
Oh, God. Right. Sorry, who was so Solanke, Willock, and Wilson?
Yes.
That is tricky, to be fair. Wilson was out for a canny bit, wasn't he?
I don't know, was he?
Yes, he's injured quite a bit, apparently.
I've heard.
I think it's Wilson first, then Solanke, then Willock.
Wilson, Solanke, Willock.
Yes, please lock that answer in. It's going to be wrong, like.
Number 1 with 57 points is Dominic Solanke.
Boo, what a nightmare. Oh, that's mint, that, though, in fairness. Well done, Dom.
Number 2, Willock with 56.
Completely. No, not completely.
Number 3 is Wilson with 55.
Jesus.
Still drawn, bitch.
Do you know why I went with Wilson first? So I had I was obviously doing some looking for who was the top striker and top midfielder. So I wanted to double check the Newcastle players were at the top. I remember looking at the strikers and seeing that Wilson was like still fairly high up, even though he hadn't played as many games. But never mind, it doesn't matter. We're still drawing.
Yes, I'm glad.
So, honestly, I don't want to go too much into like what the teams did this week. I feel like we've chatted enough. All I know is, mate, I'm 4.3 or something millionth in the world. And that's not fun for me. I had Darwin, who did well.
Yeah.
I had Darwin, and I think that was really it, to be honest. Wasn't really a good week.
How many points did you get?
Ooh, I think about 42.
Ouch.
Yeah, again, not good.
I had a belter. I got 66 points, which sounds not great, but it was a Gameweek rank of 370,000.
Nice.
I did take a hit, though, for 4 points. In my transfers, I brought in... Who the hell did I bring in? I brought in Darwin Núñez and Harvey Barnes on the hit. So nice. I took your advice. So
glad somebody did.
I had a few blanks, but Trippier got 7. What's the point? Everyone's got them. Martinelli got 6. Foden got 9. Martin Odegaard got 16. Barnes got 8. Darwin got 13. And then Captain bloody Haaland, didn't I?
Me too.
And that's the problem.
Darwin. I had Darwin vice captain.
Me too.
I was totally going to captain him over Haaland if he wasn't playing. It's typical that this week he played.
My only smart decision was benching Wilfred Zaha for his 0 point. Actually, he missed a pen.
Well played. Yeah, that wasn't fun looking at that. Do you know what? I had Danny Ward on my bench now that I remember for his 11 points.
Oh.
I had him starting Danny Ward until Nick Pope had his heroics in the Carabao Cup, and I thought, do you know what? We're not conceding to Chelsea.
Yeah.
So I put him back in.
But I mean, he got some points at least. My overall rank 875k. So
you're doing nicely there. You've got a good kind of basis.
It's not, is it?
You've got a good base to like kick on for the like rest of the season. I'd kill for that rank at the minute.
Yeah.
Like legitimately like do terrible things for that rank now.
Terrible, disgusting things. You'll love it.
But hey, it is what it is. I'm ready for to document the climb through the ranks each week from game week 17 onwards. Do you want to have a check of the Gallowgateshots League before we round up until like Boxing Day? Well, we're not going to record on Boxing Day, but
why not?
With Christmas hats. I say that actually before.
Not bad idea. I'll be mortal on Boxing Day, so that could be a good idea.
I think before we when we do the like build up to game week 17, we can have some Christmas hats on, or some sort of Christmas themed decoration.
Happy with that.
Yeah, all for it. So I'm currently 259th in the Gallowgateshots mini league. In case anybody was dying to know.
We all were, mate.
Do you know what? I hadn't looked because it's not worth looking. It's not worth looking. But I thought for the sake of this, like 259th, I'm sure there's only about 300 in that as well. You know, it's friggin' disgraceful. Anyway,
When it's your league.
it's kind of my league. So Ian Malcolm, right, is still top. He's the only player. He's the only player to pass 1,000 points. He's got 1,000 points. So that's class. Yeah, and I mean, amazing that. I wonder what his you'll be on the website now, won't you?
Yeah.
What's his overall rank? I've said just rank.
It's every week, Matt. You're an absolute fiend.
So close.
What a climax.
Jesus
What a climax
Christ.
to the season.
What's his overall rank, Dan?
His overall rank was successful, I've heard. He's coming out on top. What am I doing here?
Keep them coming.
Let's see how he's going to finish.
Sexual innuendo.
Overall rank, 1,899.
Christ.
Top 2K.
Well played, Ian Malcolm.
That's going straight in his Twitter handle, isn't it?
He needs to make a Twitter handle and put it in if he doesn't have one already.
Yeah, exactly.
And the elusive Liam Woodfine is still in contention in second place with 996. So, with chips still to play and double game weeks to come, I think the back end of this season is going to be class. I'm kind of looking forward to it. The fact that we get a wild card so I can sort out my team and kind of have a bit of a refresh. I think you'll feel the same. Like it kind of leaves everyone open to kind of have another bash at it.
Yeah, but I mean that's how you have the ultimate wank. Ultimately,
of course. So yeah, I think I don't even know what to say anymore. Honestly, I've loved doing these shows. So just to quickly say, if you have been watching from game week 1 to game week 16, or if this is the first time you're watching, thank you, because I mean we do tend to have a bit of a laugh on here. We kind of can't take it too seriously because of my rank in particular, but we just enjoy talking about fantasy football. So glad to have everyone watching with us. If you do anything with this video, please like, please comment, say anything you want, and I'll respond to you. Okay, maybe even just anything you want.
You're making it sound like Babe Station, mate. With just £3 a comment, I will do anything you like.
I mean, for £2.99 a month, you can become a member. I mean, if that's I'll not twerk for you though.
Anything else you want, but not twerking.
So subscribe, like, comment, do all that. If you want to find out when videos like this are coming out on Gallowgateshots, click the bell and you'll get notifications for that. Obviously, if you like the video, it'll bring other Newcastle United fans over to this and other fantasy football fans over to this as well, which is what we all want. Hopefully, we'll see you guys when game week 17 kicks off. We'll have a video building up to game week 17, and we'll also have an exclusive video just for Newcastle United assets, I think, because that's going to be a big talking point. So I look forward to it all. Anything to say, Dan? Nice and clean, not.
Nah, I think you've said it all, mate. No, again, thanks everyone for watching. It is really, really appreciated, and especially everyone in the comments as well. So we'll see you for hopefully a more joyful game week 17 to 38.
Yes, and I mean by then England will be
world champions
of the world. It's coming home. Come on. Right, well, we'll see you next time. Adios.
See you later.
Bye.